That's right. December 2nd, 7th, notorious day, transformational day in American history, Pearl Harbor. The Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. We didn't quit. Not to make light, I'm sorry. Classic John Belushi, though. Heavy day, 1942, I believe. Let's just double check. Sorry, I'm a little out of sorts today. 1941. But Fayaz was supposed to be here, but he woke up not feeling well, so I'm going solo. Thursday, December 7th. Brother Richie, live from the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and you know what time it is.
From the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it's high noon and high time that you tuned into the Spirit of Sports, hosted by Brother Richie. The Spirit of Sports is the flagship of the Not Pods family. Not Pods' complete archive can be found at Not Pods on YouTube. And now for our host, Brother Richie.
Hey, and aloha once again. Welcome, Brother Richie, the Spirit of Sports, brought to you by Not Pods. At my Not Pods channel, YouTube, at Not Pods. And coming one day, notpods.com. I got it all set up. I just need to find the time and the patience and maybe someone to help me out. Put together a nice website that I will be live on that as well. Thursday, December 7th, as I said, Pearl Harbor Day, national holiday-ish around these parts, middle of the Pacific Ocean, Hawaii. Just past high noon. Week 13 is wrapped up. We'll go over how my picks went there, and I will give you my picks on week 14. First of all, though, we got a little bit of college football to talk. I got issues with the SEC a little bit. They got to have a team in, that's fine. And Alabama beat Georgia, that's fine. And even if they both made it, that's fine. Florida State probably got screwed. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And that's fine. My issue is this. Why is Alabama playing Tennessee Chattanooga on week 12? Why is Alabama playing South Florida in week 3 and Middle Tennessee State in week 1? And especially Tennessee Chattanooga. I know, got to pad the schedule. You can't have a in-season loss to a Power 5 team, but it's crap. And I know Chattanooga probably makes $500,000 to $1 million to go and get their butt kicked, 66-10. You know, and I understand. Middle Tennessee State, just give the teams that would have been on your schedule, just give them $500,000. Take it out of the boosters coffer and play Clemson. Play Oregon State. I don't know. I mean, the rest of their schedule, sure, they played Texas, Mississippi, Mississippi State, A&M, Arkansas, Tennessee. It's a gauntlet. LSU, Kentucky, Auburn, and Georgia. And sure, they do deserve to be in. But I don't like week. And if you got to play the cupcake and give them their half meal, do it in week 1. You're not playing Chattanooga in week 12 when Florida State's playing Florida. Yeah, I don't like that. Looking back, Iowa was in the Big Ten final versus Michigan. Scored 3 points. I don't know. I don't think it's set up East versus West in the Big Ten. Why didn't they just play Ohio State again. Oh, they did score. That's right. 26-0. 3-0 at halftime. Iowa's in the Big Ten game. Go back to Pull My Hair Out Tuesday. Or if you want to call it, it's my backseat quarterback, just a little bit of that. How in the F you can't score 1 point in an NCAA or NFL or high school game? I don't care. 1 effing point. You're in the Big Ten championship game. So the Final Four is set. We got Michigan. I would have had Michigan, Washington, Bama, and Georgia myself. And man, I'm glad I was, and I'm glad I'm not, and I wish I was on that committee. Because there was no right answers. They're going to get drilled no matter what this year. And it's no big deal because it goes to 12 teams next year. But when I went through the math of it and the schematics and the analytics, big word these days, I had Michigan, Washington, Bama, and Georgia. FSU, Texas, OSU looking out from the inside. I understand Texas did beat Bama, but strength of schedule highly in Bama's favor. Georgia didn't lose in 3 years damn near. Florida State gets screwed for sure, but another suspect conference. Oh, ACC will welcome the Atlantic Coast Conference welcomes Cal and Stanford next year. That's a whole nother story. I just saw this today. So it's Michigan, Washington, Bama, and Texas. Michigan, Bama in the Rose Bowl. I thought they might work it out. I guess they couldn't because the only 2 undefeated teams besides Florida State. But I really thought they'd try to work it out where Michigan would play Washington in the Rose Bowl for one last hurrah. Big Ten, Pac-12. Didn't work out that way. Michigan, Bama in the Rose Bowl. And that will be on the 1st of January. Used to be the biggest day. 6 bowl games, and they voted for the championship, so it didn't really matter, and it was traditional, and certain teams played in this bowl and that bowl, and New Year's Day was huge back in the day, so it's nice to see that come around, end up that way. I believe it's Monday. Bama, Michigan in the Rose Bowl, Texas, Washington in the Sugar Bowl, and then the winners meet up in Houston. I've said this before, starting back in probably the 80s. Add 1 more game. 92, especially. Washington dominated, went 11-0. Had to play whoever in the Rose Bowl. Miami Hurricanes dominated everybody, went 11-0. Had to play whoever in the Orange Bowl. Play 1 more game. Nobody's going to care. NCAA, you're the law of the land. You could have just said, we're playing 1 more game. Add 2 more teams this year. Florida State and Texas really deserve it. Ohio State, you didn't play, you lost. Why didn't Ohio State just play Michigan for the Big Ten championship? I mean, I don't know. Do they still do? Oh, yeah. They're one of the few, I guess, the ACC too. See, the Pac-12 did away with the North and the South. Just the 2 best teams played. They still have the East and the West. So Michigan has Ohio State and Penn State on their side, and Michigan State. Wow. On the East. And then the West is Iowa, Northwestern, Wisconsin, Nebraska. That's really fair. Should have just been, sorry, Iowa. It's Michigan, Ohio State again. So the Final Four is set. I don't know. Bama might beat Michigan. I don't know. Texas might beat Washington. I'm not sure. Vegas says Michigan 1.5. Texas -4. Wow. Maybe it's that defense. I'll take Michael Penix with 4 points. I'm going to talk to you gamblers later, though, in the NFL. The spread only comes into effect about 10 to 15% of the time. So you just pick the winners. Don't worry about the spread, basically. 1, 2, 3 games a week in the NFL that the spread has actually had an effect on the outcome of the gambling scene. I believe only once was 4 games. 4 out of 14. Week 11. Week 12, there was not one game that the spread influenced how the gambling ended up. So just write down your winners and then go through and maybe pick 1 or 2 that you think the spread is different. But don't even look at it, people. Pick the winners. Win the money, I believe. So Florida State, and I believe it's them. Nobody really knows for sure, but they canceled their press conference for the Georgia game. In the Orange Bowl. So consolation, you get to play Georgia, Florida State in the Orange Bowl, New Year's Day Bowl. Florida State undefeated. Big controversy. Not in the playoff. And they just don't want to come to the press conference. They're talking about suing because it's $52 million that they got knocked out of potentially for playing in the playoff. $52 million of revenue. The school is looking to sue, I don't know, the NCAA, and I don't know how that works. But maybe are they ducking Ohio State? There's rumors that they just don't show up. Go all the way till kickoff and just say, sorry, ba. We don't like play, ba. I don't know. Are they scared? Are they scared? Excuse me, are you scared to play Ohio State? Are they scared? Are they scared to be outed? Get exposed for possibly the frauds they are? 13-0. Let's check their schedule. 13-0. Florida State, LSU, Southern Miss, BC, 31-29 BC. Clemson win by a touchdown. Pounded LSU first game. Then Virginia Tech, blowout. Syracuse, blowout. Duke, blowout. Wake, blowout. Pitt, 24-7. Miami, North Alabama, so they played a cupcake too in there, 58-13. Florida, 24-15. Louisville, and we scored 16 points on their third-string quarterback. I don't know. Clemson might be ranked. Virginia Tech sometimes is good. Duke tries. Wake and Pitt. Miami's down. What's Miami's record this year? 1, 2, 3, 5 losses. 7-5. So pretty weak strength of schedule. Florida State. A couple close games. And I understand it. I would be livid. I might not show up either. But you show up and get your ass beat, which I think would happen, as that spread is 14 points. I'd probably lay that if I was betting. So you're a 14-point underdog, and you're, once again, I'm going to use this word, apoplectic. You didn't get invited to the playoff, but you show up and Georgia beat you 48-14. Then you don't have a leg to stand on. There's rumors that they're just going to duck the game. They ducked the press conference. So, yeah, Texas, Washington, Bama, Michigan, going to be exciting following week. And next year is going to be so great because next year, 12 teams. And then let's look at it. If it was this year, so Oklahoma's 12, LSU's 13, Arizona 14. Penn State 10, Missouri 9. I bet Missouri might get dumped. I'd rather have Oklahoma or LSU. Arizona played tough. So that's going to be the complaining next year. You know, LSU, Zona, Louisville, they're going to be bombed. Oklahoma's going to barely get in. I'd put LSU in over Missouri. Penn State 10-2. But at least we won't be harping on should a undefeated big five conference, Power 5 conference undefeated team for the first time ever. Should they or shouldn't they not be in? That will not be on the agenda when we argue next year, and should have been 30 years ago. It's about damn time. You voted for it 2 years ago. Why you got to wait? I don't understand how a lot of this stuff works, but that's fine. Heisman watch. Bo Nix a distant third at plus 1,500. Jaden Daniels, my boy Fayaz, that's supposed to be here, minus 1,200. So heavy favorite. You bet 12. You lose 1,200 to win 100. Michael Penix Jr. second, plus 900. So Jaden Daniels, look at the numbers. 3,812 yards passing, 40 touchdowns and 4 picks. 1,134 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns. Almost 5,000 total yards, 50 touchdowns combined, and 4 interceptions. It's pretty damn good. Penix Jr., 4,218 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, 9 picks. Negative 18 yards rushing because they use sacks in the totals. 3 touchdown rushes, so 4,200 yards, 36 touchdowns combined, and 9 interceptions versus 50 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Bo Nix, better numbers, but lost a couple games. 41-45 passing, 40 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 228 rushing, and 6 rushing touchdowns for 4,300 plus almost 4,400 yards total, 46 total touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, but losing the 2 games. And a distant fourth, Marvin Harrison Jr., plus $20,000. You risk 100, you win 20 grand. He ain't gonna win it. 1,237 total yards and 15 touchdowns, but he's great. There's an argument if you watch the games, that guy could win it. But it's a QB. It's a QB prize now. It's a QB trophy. Anyway, high five, Kitty. How you been? Got high five, Kitty joining me. No Fayaz today. He called in sick. We got Titus over here. We got Muggsy on the way behind me. Brother Richie coming at you live. Do we got a commercial lineup? I think we do. Let's hear it. This is the halfway point. I'm gonna turn it over to the NFL. My picks and the do's and don'ts of the NFL. Let's take a 15-second break from our title sponsor. Wyoming. Why not? Come visit Wyoming. It's beautiful. And thank you to Wyoming. Shout out Cowboys, Josh Allen. Even though I've never chosen him once in fantasy football, and one of the leagues, he beats my ass every year in the playoffs. So thanks to Wyoming for that public service announcement. This show brought to you by Wyoming. Wyoming. Why not? Gamblers. Yeah, the spread. NFL. I don't know about college. I only gamble the NFL. I do my pick'ems. I do a pick'em pool. I don't do parlays too much. I might delve into a little bit with my dad. He's back in Oregon. He can do DraftKings legally. Here in Hawaii, no can. But the spread only impacts about 12 to 14% of games on this season. That means at the most 3 to 4 games out of 14, 16 games. And as I said, week 12, last week, not one game. If you pick the winners, you pick the parlays, pick the winners, you win. I would just keep a distant eye on the spread. Pick your winners first. Don't even look at the spreads. Pick your winners and losers and then look at the spread. This is going to be my first advice to gambling. And picking the winners wise, I'm doing great. I'm pushing 80% on the year. Won my pick 'em pool twice, 27 guys. We all throw $10 in the pot. So it's 270. I've won that thing twice this year. I've lost on a tiebreak 3 or 4 more times. Pulled it out of my ass last week, took Cincy, because our pool is online and it's on CBS Sports, and you're allowed to change your Monday night pick. You can see everybody's right answer. So if you're one game behind, you just might as well pick the underdog. There's a 5-way tie last week. I took Cincy. The other 4 took Jacksonville. I said, I'm sick of losing by the spread. This is a walk-off, all or nothing. Last at bat, bases loaded, 2 down, full count. What are you going to do? I went base hit. I went grand slam. So pick the winners, people. There have been 28 times out of 193 games that the spread has affected the gambling outcome, where it was different. There was an outright winner, and then the spread winner was different or tie. The road team has 15 of 18 wins. So the home team, the home dog, the spread only helped the home dog win 3 times on the whole season. Not sure how many home dogs there were. 15 road teams benefited from the spread, lost outright, but won the spread. And then there were 10 ties with the spread. And this biggest number that the spread affects, a lot of 6s, 3s, 7s, a lot of 9s, a couple 7.5s, 2.5, 5, a couple 4s, 6s. But there's never a 1.5. If the spread's 1.5, I don't think there's one 3.5. 4s, there's nothing in the 4s. 4s, 5s, hardly any 6s. 8, if the spread's 8, it never correlates. 10, there's only 1, 2, 3 double-digit spreads that the favorite hasn't covered. So it's almost big spreads. Just go with the favorite. Look for 6s and 7s and 9s and 3s. 3, 6, 7, 9. If it's that number, then better chance that the spread might affect your bet. I'm telling you, though, pick the winners first, then look at the spreads. Sit down, write all the games out. Don't even write the spreads. Take all your winners, then fill in the spreads, then pick 2 or 3 that look suspect and go. Over under, 56% under this year, but the last 4 weeks has been 52% over. Through week 11, I believe, the over under was 62% under. So the offenses are starting to come around, and the underlines are lowering quickly. There's 7 games this week with 40 points or less. 5 games in the 30s. Tonight's game, this is Thursday, December 7th, the Spirit of Sports, brought to you by Not Pause, Brother Richie. Tonight's game, 30, over under 30. It's the lowest over under since the 90s. So that's just coaching staffs. It's on you. Me and Chris Spence, I always say, give us a week, bro. With your backup quarterback, will score a touchdown. You got to have a scheme for any situation. Shit happens in the NFL. Let's go through my picks. I haven't done my 4-pack yet, so this is a first. I'm gonna actually talk through what I think my 4-pack should be. I usually pick about 6 or 7 that I like in parlays, cut it down to my 4-pack because I'm doing a year-long thing. Nick Wright does his 3 picks, and the Colin Cowherd blazing 5. So I do a 4-pack. Meet them in the middle. Tonight, Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh straight up. This is one of my 1, 2, 3, 4 games that I'm taking the spread different. I'm going to take the Patriots plus 5.5. So there might not be 5.5 points scored in the game. On the other hand, 82% of the money's on the under. As you can imagine, I thought it'd be 100. Looks like about 82% is on the under. It just feels like a Vegas trap game. 38-35, Trubisky throws for 3 touchdowns. Imagine that. Vegas been taking a hit this year from my calculations. So, and I don't do over-unders. I just do them on my picks for the week. I'm terrible at it. I'm like 47% or something this year. But if I had to gamble on this one, I would take the under, but I would be nervous. So Pittsburgh straight up, New England plus 5.5. Tampa at Atlanta. I don't know. It's Atlanta minus 1.5. I like Tampa straight up, and I'll take the 1. Actually, it's 1 point now. Detroit at Chicago. Detroit's on a playoff push. Chicago could have 2 top 5 picks. Depending on the mood of Justin Fields, I guess, but I would go Detroit. The 2 quarterbacks, depending what mood, which guy shows up. Not anywhere near. So the first 2, I don't think I'm putting them anywhere near my 4-pack. But Detroit minus 3, I'll take Detroit, and I'll take Detroit, give the 3. Indy at Cincy's a pick 'em. Oh, it was. It's minus 2. When I got it yesterday, it was pick 'em. The line has moved to Cincy minus 2, but for my sakes, I pick these on Wednesday. I do my show on Thursdays. So I got Cincy at pick 'em. I take Cincy straight up, and I'm taking Cincy with the pick 'em. Possibly. Let's write it down as a questionable. Cincy pick 'em. Questionable 4-pack. Kind of like them. I think they got the better weapons. Jonathan Taylor's still out. Oh, there's a rumor that Irsay broke his thumbs as he was hitchhiking out of town. Thanks to Woos for that one. I should get Woos to call in. I'm going to text Woos. Call in if you can, Woos. Let's talk some NFL football. This is the stuff I should do pre-show, but you know, I'm on my own here. Texting Woos. Texting Woos right now. I'm live show as we speak. Should call in. Another 20 minutes. Okay, we'll see. Jacksonville. Where you at, Jacksonville? Duval at Cleveland. Wow, this spread just went. I had Jacksonville minus 3. Now it's Cleveland minus 3. Is that? Yeah, it went from plus 3 to minus 3. 6-point change in 2 days. Wow. CJ Beathard that bad? Or is DTR that good? Who's even starting? I don't know. Wow. Well, I went Jacksonville at Cleveland. You know, Beathard's a 10-year vet. He had some good years in backing up San Fran. He's serviceable. He drove him down to kick a game-tying field goal. That's impressive for a backup. So, yeah, I will take Jacksonville. I'm going to stick with it, -3, and give the 3 at Cleveland. Oh, man. I'm going to have to rethink that. Well, Cleveland's giving 3 now. I was ready to, but I got it at Jackson. You know what? These are locked in. I can't change them now when I see the line change since yesterday. Was that since yesterday? So I wrote these maybe on Tuesday. Today, I went from +1 yesterday. Yeah, I don't know where I got -2 because it was -1. Oh, well. It was -3 on the 29th. That's weird. Sticking with it, Jacksonville -3. Let's go, Duval. I don't like it. You know what? I haven't locked them in yet. I'm going to go Cleveland. I'm going to take the +3 because that's what it was. Actually, I don't know. Unprecedented. 6-point spread in 2 days. 6-point spread differential as I'm doing my show. I'm going to stick with the points that I had. No, but I would have had to bet then. I'll just go Cleveland -3. I'll stick with Jacksonville straight up, but I'll go Cleveland -3, and I know that makes no sense. Anyhow, I shouldn't even look at the new spreads. So I'm on my app looking at the games. Carolina at New Orleans. Jameis Winston. Another one of those. Jekyll and Hyde, which is it Jameis? Dr. Jameis or Mr. Winston? I'm going New Orleans, and I'm going to give the 4.5. Still set on 4.5. Houston at the Jets. Houston all day. Zach Wilson back after reports that he didn't want to play anymore, which I think is ridiculous. You know, the guy's really grown up. I really dig his attitude. I think some Aaron Rodgers has worn off on him. I like his demeanor. Says the right things. He's not mopey. He's not cocky anymore. What a mess. It's pretty much like getting dumped by 2 girls. And then they go date everybody else and then come back to you. So I'll take Houston all day. -3.5. And we're going to put that in the possible 4-pack. Rams at Baltimore. This is one of my flip-flop. I like Baltimore straight up. I'll take the Rams at +7.5. And I'm going to stick that in my 4-pack possibility. Rams are playing well. It's coming around. Coming around for the Rams. Next, Minnesota at Vegas. Traders. Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas Traders. Used to love them. I used to love them, but now I kill them. Minnesota, straight up, and I will give the 3 points. Pastronaut, come back to your Pastronaut style. That was just silly last week. 4 interceptions. I bet a lot of the money was on. I don't have it in front of me. I bet a lot of the money was on Minnesota. Next up, Seattle at San Fran. San Fran straight up, -10.5. Take them. They're on a roll. They want home field advantage. They want the number 1 seed. They want to expand their dominance upon the NFC and the NFL. Probably the best team in the NFL. Collision course for the Super Bowl. Give the 10.5. Like I said, there's only 2 times that double-digit spreads have even affected the outcome. Buffalo. KC's not right. Buffalo at KC. I'm going straight up Buffalo. And I'll definitely take the Buffalo +2, and we're going to put that in our possibly pick 4-pack. Oh, San Fran's going in the possible 4-pack too. Okay. Denver at the Chargers. Can you just not Charger? I'm going Chargers. I'm giving the 3. Let's not LA Charger this time. San Diego, LA Charger. Brandon Staley. Lame duck coach anyway. Might as well make it a little tougher on them firing your ass. You don't have to ask me that question anymore, okay? I am confident in our team, okay? We lose as a team. We don't lose just the offense or just the defense or just we lose as a team. The weather won't affect my play calling. Oh, but coach, it's a blizzard. It's, 30 miles an hour. The weather won't affect my play calling. You don't have to ask that question anymore, okay? That just always gets a little chuckle out of me. Philly at Dallas. I'm going Dallas. Hate to say this. I'm sick of them. Almost as bad as KC and not near as bad as the Oregon Ducks, F a Duck. Not as bad as the little bitch Warriors. Not as bad as the old Lakers. But Dallas is getting up there in my hatred. Goes here, Ducks, Warriors. About Dallas, KC right in here. Hate to say it, though. I'm taking Dallas, and I'm giving up the 3.5. And it's making my possible 4-pack. Dolphins, Tennessee. Come into Miami. Put it on the 4-pack. Minus 13 straight up and give the 13 points. That offense is clicking. What have they done the last few games? Last 5 games, besides the KC loss, which was in London or in Germany, 31, 20, 34, and 45 points. 42, 31, 70, 36, averaging about 35 points a game. I don't see Tennessee stopping this juggernaut. I don't see Will Levis moving the ball too much. I think that's a straight up lock. That might be the lock of the week, Miami minus 13. And finally, one of my, I don't know, you call it flip-flop or where they don't sink. I'm taking Green Bay at the Giants Monday night. Oh, 2 Monday nighters. That's right. NFL has this way of just throwing in weird little wrinkles. Same exact time, Monday night, which is weird, NFL. You don't want us watching commercials while you're putting 2 games at the exact same time. Green Bay at the Giants. I will take Green Bay, but I will take the Giants plus 6.5. And that's not getting anywhere near my 4-pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 games that I have to pare down to 4. Houston at the Jets. So I'm going Miami as number 1. San Fran, Seattle, no. Buffalo, no. I think Houston's number 2. I'll go San Fran number 3. Dallas, Buffalo's, I think, 6. Cincy's 4 or 5. Cincy's 4 to 5. Rams plus 7.5. At Baltimore, that's 5 or 6. Dallas is 4 through 6. So I'm definitely going Miami, Houston, and San Francisco. That's 3 of my 4-pack locked in. 4 or 5, Dallas, Cincy, Indy. It's Indy at Cincy, yeah. Indy at Cincy, pick 'em. That's 4 to 5. Buffalo, no. I'm scratching Buffalo because you just really can't bet against Mahomes too much. Rams 7.5 or Dallas minus 3.5. Is it a Dallas lay an egg or is it Baltimore dominate? Zach lay an egg or Baltimore dominate? Zach lay an egg. Or Dak, I mean. Zach's going to lay an egg. Dak lay an egg or Baltimore dominate. Flip a coin. Speaking of, we're going to talk about last week's outcomes. Dak lay an egg on Sunday Night Football, or Rams play them tough. Dak lay an egg, Baltimore dominate. This is really hard. I'm going Cincy's out. Is Cincy out? No. Rams are out. I think Baltimore dominates. Coming off a bye, John Harbaugh. Okay. Cincy went outright, just win the game over Indy, 2 backup quarterbacks. Or Dak lay an egg. Can't count on Dak. My 4-pack is in. Miami minus 13. Houston. Miami at home for Tennessee minus 13. Houston at the Jets minus 3.5. Noah Brown game, baby. San Fran minus 10.5 at home against Seattle. And Cincinnati pick 'em. It's gone up, but this was Tuesday or Wednesday that I get these numbers. That's when I lock them in. Cincy pick 'em at home for Indy. So it's Miami, Houston, San Fran, Cincy. That's my 4-pack. Let's look at the past, how I did last week. Last week I was 3-0-1, winner. 26-24-2 on my 4-packs versus a spread. Cowherd, Blazing 5, went 3-2. He's 31, 29-5. We're right on exact same pace, basically. He's 2 games over 500. I'm 2 over 500. Not going to win you any money. Nick Wright went 1-2 last week. He's 14-22 overall. I always just Google and, look back at the shows and try to find he has a 3-pack every week. He didn't have anything anywhere on Thanksgiving. And then he's showing last week that he went 4-1. I'm saying nope because I couldn't find any. Oh, what? All of a sudden you do 5 games one week, but every other week you do 3. So I'm not counting that. If you did count it, he'd be 18-23. But I'm not because it wasn't. He does 3 picks a week. It's a Nick Wright 3-pack. And he went 1-2. He's 14-22 on the season. That's what he said. That's why I put that picture of him up. He hasn't been as blatant. It was actually a breath of fresh air when Kansas City got pretty dominated by Green Bay. And he said, they played better. They deserve to win. We didn't deserve to win. I don't care about the missed calls. I don't care about the officiating. We just flat out lost a game. That was actually a breath of fresh air coming from Nick, Mr. Wrong. So last week, me straight up 10-3 on not pods. I actually changed one of my picks. I went 11-2 and I won my league on my CBS Sports Pick'em pool. 10-3. I'm 119-61 on the year straight up, 66.1%. I went 7-5-1 versus a spread, 3-0-1 on my 4-pack. I'm 98-74-8 on the year, 57%. I would be winning money in Vegas. You have to win 52% with the VIG if it's minus 110. So 57%. I will take that. JFK, my flip a coin buddy. I flip a $50 every week. And I'll say that, okay, on this straight up, it's heads is the home team, and I'll flip it 16 times or 14 games, whatever. He went 6-7 on the week. He is 98-95. So over 50% if you flip a coin straight up. Not so great against the spread. 5-7-1. He's 32% on the year. JFK. Flipping a coin versus a spread. But he's over 500. Straight up. Like I said, I'm 66.1%. Plus a 10-3. I'm probably 68% on the year. Straight up. 58% on the year against the spread. Amalani, my little girl, I'm so proud of her. Whenever I say Atlanta Falcons, Baltimore Ravens, she knows 27 or 28 of the 32 teams. I bet she knows them all now. If you ask just the city, she'll tell you the name. 6 years old. Bravo. Good parenting. Thank you. Even watching some NFL slime time. Nate Burleson and young Dylan. Pretty good for the kids. But she's almost at 50%. She went 6-7 this week. She's 95 and 98, so about 48%. I just tell her, okay, Falcons, Atlanta Falcons at the Baltimore Ravens. Falcons, Ravens, Ravens, Falcons. I don't want it to be the last thing she hears. And she's pushing 50%. Over under, I was at 45%. And I went 6-7. So my best week over under was 8-5-1 in week 9. I've been 5-11. Don't listen to me on the over under. That's why I don't even tell you. It's hard, man. Let's do some do's and don'ts of the NFL. Do. Run the ball, people. Run the ball. Week 13. Winning teams. Throw the ball 416 times. Run the ball 371. So this is about the highest it's been, 52.8% pass. So if you're 48% run on the year, 47.37% run, you win the game. If you can run the ball 45 to 50%, you win. That's what winning teams do. Losing teams on the year, coming into week 13, 6,498 passes, 3,901 runs, 62% pass equals lose. If you run the ball less than 40%, you lose. Look at Philly, 48 passes to 18 runs last week. And they got fans outside the offices, the Eagles offices, the Eagles camp. Fans outside with the signs at 6 a.m, run the ball, as they're on their way to the airport. Heard a cool story. Sirianni actually sent them coffee and said, "You're right." Class act, that guy. Even though, getting into it with the other fans, I don't mind. That's Philly. Yo, Rage. We're Rocky. All I knew about Philly was Rocky. He is fictional. Anyway, do's and don'ts in the NFL. Do run the ball 50-50. Do's and don'ts of the NFL. Don't turn the ball over. 72.2% of the time, the team with less or even turnovers wins. 72.2% of the time. You don't turn the ball over. You run the ball, you win in the NFL. Figure it out, people. Backseat quarterback at its best. Set hut. Set hut. Your line sucks. Your quarterback sucks. Get on the ball and treat it like the blocking sled drill. 50 times in a row. It's how Michigan won a game this year. They ran the ball 32 straight times. It's how the Beavers won the Civil War last year. They ran the ball 25 straight times. Didn't throw one pass in the fourth quarter. Came back from 18 points down. Didn't abandon the run just because you get down a couple scores. Figure it out, people. Effing irritating. Penalty is not that big a deal. The team that's more penalized wins 60% of the games. And I would think that'd be the opposite. So penalties, I don't mind them. Dumb penalties in big situations, 3rd and 12, and you get the defensive holding. That's a hair pull. Tug your hair out in toughs. Missed tackles. Don't. Penalties won't kill you for the most part. Home field straight up, 56% home field versus the spread. It's 50-50, 51% home teams win. So when you're doing your gambling as well, don't look so much at home. Home and away. I'm telling you, This is your best angle. And do some money lines on it. It's not a great bargain. If you lose, you're screwed. But if you're sure of it, just go money line. Even if it's minus 700. So there's games that you just know there's absolutely no way, don't you? But of course, that's the one that's minus 1,200 and bites your ass. So maybe stay away from the money lines. But my gambling strategy is this. Write down all the games. Don't look at any spreads. Don't look at any over-unders. Just write the teams. Look in your mind. And I also look at head coach, look at quarterback, look at the running back room, look at the wide receiver room, look at offensive line, and look at defense. Who's better at each? There's six groups. Check off. Maybe 1 through 5 on each. Maybe add those up. That helps me. But for the most part, don't even look at the spreads. Pick all your winners, then fill in the spreads, and then say, that looks a little suspect. 2 or 3 only. Because the spread, 85 to 88% of the time, the spread doesn't mean shit. As I said, Nick Wright, 14 and 22 on his 3 picks. Don't just sneak in that, I did 5 on Thanksgiving that nobody could find anywhere on the internet or the show. And I went 4 and 1. You're 14 and 22, bro. I'm 26, 24 and 2 in my 4 packs against the spread. Not winning any money, but it's not going to make you go broke. Cowherd's 31, 29 and 5. Same deal on his Blazing 5. Blazing 5, baby. Over-unders, 9 and 4 last week. What time is it? What time is it? Not that time. Where is it?
From Hawaii on the...
Dang it. Bear with me, people. It's one of my favorite times, one of my favorite segments, but got to have the music, don't you? I guess not. Once again, that scary time of day that we all know and love. Panic room. Time for the panic room, week 14. It's like that movie, The Purge. The marauders, the felons, the motorbike gangs are outside the door of the NFL. Are you a marauder? Are you a felon? Are you a pillager? Are you in your house but firmly ensconced? Or do you have to head to the panic room right over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the panic room only this week. I let Buffalo out on a bye. I let the Raiders out on a bye. Somehow I let the Chargers out on a 6-0 win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 teams that are still in, and I guess only 1 team that had to re-enter. Let's go to it. Minnesota. What the hell is going on, Minnesota? You're off a bye. I understand. But you lose 12-10 and throw 4 picks the last game you played. This is your 3rd week in the panic room. New England Patriots, 5 straight losses. I'm just considering you've been in the panic room the whole year. You brought your cot, you brought your Bunsen burner, you brought your lantern, you brought your sleeping bag, you locked the door. I'm surprised you let anybody else in. New England Patriots. New York Jets, 8th week. There was a time when the Jets were 4-4. 5 losses later, 4-9, been through 3 crappy quarterbacks. New Orleans Saints, 3rd time. 3rd time's a charm. Get in the panic room, New Orleans Saints. What's going on? You got Carolina this week. 3 straight losses to Minnesota, Atlanta, and Detroit. 19-15 points. Seattle Seahawks. It's your 3rd week. Also, having to go into San Fran. That'll panic anybody out. 3 straight losses. Score 35 points and lose to Dallas. That was, they looked pretty good against Dallas, but a loss is a loss. And your Washington Commanders. Washington. On a bye week. Spend the bye week in the panic room. 5 straight losses. I don't know. Lame duck coach. Ooh, we could talk coaching. I got a couple more minutes. Let's talk coaching vacancies that are going to be open for next year. And 2 this year. Cardinals, you're fine. Falcons. Let's write this down. Coaching vacancies. Possible and fact. Going through every team of the NFL. See if they have a new coach next year. Zona's fine. Jonathan Gannon. Defensive guy. I like him. ATL. You won't use your best players. Stubborn, terrible mustache. Arthur Smith, that's a question mark. Ravens, you're fine. Bills, bro, they don't make the playoffs. Defensive coach. That's a question mark that the Bills might have a new head coach next year. Carolina for sure. You're not going with, I don't even know. I saw the guy. Didn't look like an NFL head coach to me. So that's 1. Plus, do we have 2? Well, as we go. Bears, definite question mark. I'd say question mark / plus. Eberflus. What are we doing here? That's damn near a plus. You know what? I'd get rid of him. I guess depending what happens week 14. Atlanta, Buffalo, question mark. Carolina, plus. I'm putting Bears as a plus. Bengals, you're fine. Stefanski, you're fine. Dallas, you're fine. Denver, Lions, fine. Packers, Houston, great. Colts. What's going on with the Colts? Oh, yeah. No, he's fine. Brand new. The Jags. They're fine. Who's the Jags head coach? We'll get back to that. KC, no way. Raiders. They'll have a new one. I don't think you're giving Pierce that head job. Yeah. Oh, Peterson. Yeah, he's fine with the Jags. I don't think he's in any danger. Vegas will have a new coach. Plus, they fired. Carolina. Oh, yeah. Plus, they fired. Okay. There's been 2 fired coaches so far. Chargers. Please tell me. There's no way you bring that guy back. Rams, Dolphins, fine. Vikings, fine. Pats, question mark. Trade? I don't see a fire, but maybe trade. Saints, got to go. Dennis Allen, defensive coach. And you can tell. I don't know. Their defense, I guess, is okay. Their offense is terrible. Dable, I guess, is staying. Sala, I'm going to hot seat Sala. Eagles are fine. Steelers are fine. Niners, great. Seahawks, great. Bucks, definite question mark. Tennessee Titans, definite question mark. And I think Rivera's gone. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 almost guaranteed brand new coaches in the NFL next year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 question marks. That's a potential of 12 teams that could make a coaching change next year. And that's going to do it for me. Hour and 2 minutes. Thanks for listening. If you can just give me 2 hours a week and 51 cents a month. That's my next t-shirt. You know, I'm coming up on, I have 98 subscribers, I think. 100th subscriber, whoever you are, I will reach out to you. And my first swag, you get a t-shirt and a sticker. So 12 teams going to have a new coach next year. I'm going to say eight teams have a new coach next year in the NFL. It's a quarter of it. It's always 6 or 7. I think 8 or 9, could be 12. As I said, this is Brother Richie signing off from the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Do we go some music? Do we visit the Orient? I like visiting the Orient when we're done. It's kind of cool. I've never been. One day. Brother Richie signing off, saying aloha. Thank you so much for listening, for all your support. Pushing 100 subscribers. Remember that 100th subscriber, you're going to get some swag as soon as I get some going. Love yourself, the usual. Let's all be better. If everybody's better, society's better, life is better. Love each other. Forgive the sins. Swallow the hate and give back love. You know, I heard a good advice. If somebody insults you, makes you want to make you feel bad, make them repeat it. Say, what was that? I didn't get that. And then just ignore them. And then just walk away. And they look like idiots. And you look like the bigger person. So, love you guys. I will be back Tuesday. Another, I'm sure, 8 to 10 pages of Backseat Quarterback. Tear your hair out Tuesday. Pet peeves. Pet peeves flourish in this world of the NFL. I will see you Tuesday. Hui ho.